5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Are you ready to work towards a healthier future? Implement the best strategies for hitting your goals and taking life head on? Damn right you are. I'm your host, Courtney Levesque, and the Her Inspired Journey podcast is proud to bring you 10 minutes to better fitness. Every week, you'll hear the best of the best regarding your mental and physical health, as well as actionable insight you can implement right away. From your overall fitness to mindset, accountability, and the hottest trending topics, we've got you covered. Get ready, the clock's ticking, and your goals are waiting. We are doing it again. It is 10 minutes to better fitness, and today we are following up in the nutrition realm. Last week we talked about intermittent fasting and how you can do that, what it looks like, and how it can really benefit you. Today, though, I want to talk about something that is wildly popular and a conversation that comes up a lot amongst friends, coworkers, partners, and obviously gets asked to a nutritionist quite a bit. Do I need to eat breakfast? So before we really tap into what that is and if you need to and how to do it right and all those things, let's first talk a little bit about how to end your intermittent fasting. So last week, we just kind of talked about the premise of how to do it, what that structure could look like, and again, the ways that it could benefit you. But I really want you to focus on what happens after the intermittent fasting part happens. So if you are following the approach, the 16-8, where you're fasting for 16 and you're eating for 8, around noon, 10, 11, something, depending on when you have your last meal the night before, you're going to reintroduce food. You're going to break the fast. This can look like anything to anybody, but it's going to be a balanced meal, more than likely, unless you're following a low carb or ketogenic diet. So you're just going to focus on reintroducing food. That can just be a regular meal. It doesn't have to be anything specific, but if you are wanting to maybe follow a low carb diet, or if you're trying to go ketogenic, you're going to want to focus on getting protein and fat the next day to initiate that process. So that can just be one of the ways that you try to, reintroduce some foods. It's not going to be like a big carb heavy meal. If you do that after a fast or any time of the day as your first meal, you're probably going to be really hungry throughout the rest of the day, which is common. You might notice if you have like an apple for a snack, or if you have something that's going to be, carb heavy meal without the protein, you're probably going to be really hungry within the next hour. Like, oh my gosh, I think I just had a snack, but now I'm super hungry. So it can be really beneficial to incorporate more than just carbs. So having some healthy fats and having some protein. Now to just quickly go over and talk about breakfast. Is it the most important meal of the day? Do you need to eat breakfast? Is it going to be the most beneficial in weight loss or in maintaining a healthy body composition or health overall? It really doesn't have a definitive answer. It's going to be very much based off of what works best for you. And there's some, different scenarios here where you may find that it just doesn't work for you and your lifestyle to wake up in the morning and to make a big meal. That doesn't mean that you can or should skip breakfast. There's alternatives like having, making something the night before, having a protein bar. I will go to having a protein shake. It's just an easy way to know that I'm getting in the right nutrients if I'm trying to replace that breakfast. But you don't have to. Some people work best if they fast or skip breakfast, and then they don't eat until maybe they're, 2 or 3 hours into their workday or their day in general, and then they're going to have some sort of a snack or a small meal, or they're going to do something to introduce food into their day. Does it screw you up metabolically if you don't have breakfast? Not necessarily. There is very contradicting studies and science that goes behind, are you going to put your metabolism into, a slow rolling state if you skip breakfast on a routine basis? Again, not necessarily. If you are calorie deficient too often, or if you're restricting other meals a lot, you're probably going to find that your metabolism slows down and that you start to hold on a little bit extra weight. So you do want to be cautious with skipping meals, but again, when we're talking about breakfast, you need to look at the entire day and what you do. So does skipping breakfast mean that you are more hungry throughout the rest of the day? If that's the case, if you find that, you skip having something in the morning, but then by midday, you're eating everything under the sun. By the time you get home, you're, eating the house down. You probably need to add some breakfast into your day, or a replacement shake, or a protein bar, or some sort of a snack that's going to satisfy you until lunchtime. And then on the flip side of that, if you find that skipping breakfast causes you to constantly be in a big calorie deficit and your goal isn't, primarily weight loss, if you're trying to maintain, build muscle, produce more of a muscular physique, then you probably want to add some more calories in, because again, being at that deficit is not going to allow you the energy to increase your muscle mass and to probably have enough energy in the gym. So really find where you fall within that realm. Is it causing you to be hungry throughout the rest of the day by not eating breakfast? Or does that mean that if you're not eating breakfast, you're probably going to be in a large calorie deficit throughout that entire day? You need to figure out where you fall into that, and then just decide what's best from there. You can also try to do a balance. So you don't have to get, if you're going to eat breakfast, it doesn't have to be 7 days a week. Maybe you want to increase and have something to eat in the morning if you're going to go and train, or maybe on your lift days, or if you're going to do a long run. That could be beneficial to have something to work with in that case. But again, you really need to figure out if that's right for you. Unfortunately, I wish I could say that there's an answer like, yes, you need to have breakfast, or no, you don't need to have breakfast. But I think it's really imperative to be in tune with your body and to figure out what you need. We all experience telltale signs and symptoms, if you will, indications of how we're working. If you find that by lunch or mid-morning, you're really tired, you're already getting groggy, you're ready for a nap, you probably aren't getting enough in the way of calories to get you to that point. So it can be beneficial in the way of increasing your overall cognition, mental clarity, energy, physical and mental, to have something to eat. If you find that you are at a job that's very demanding, that really pulls on your mental capacity, probably would behoove you to have some food in the morning. Again, play around with that and see what's best for you. You can just do trial and error here. So see if you're going to start trying to implement having a breakfast or a bar or a replacement or an egg. Maybe you can just pre-make some egg muffins where you bake them and then you just put them in individual containers and then you're ready to go. Play around with it and see what's best. You may notice an increase in your overall energy, or again, in that mental clarity and focus. So that's a really big benefit to adding something in the morning. If it's simply just a matter of being busy, or maybe you have a really early morning and you don't want to get up and fuss with, making something, that's when a protein shake or protein bar can come in really handy. And you'll hear people talk about, like, do I need to supplement with, vitamins? Do I need to supplement with a protein powder? All of these things are going to be very relative to you and your needs. If you are not getting, which most of us don't, enough adequate nutrition from our food, from our whole food intake, then you need to supplement with something. The alternative to not doing so means that there's big holes and deficits in your diet. You don't want to have that. Deficiencies overall can lead to a lot of different problems and just not have you on your best game. So if you're finding that, gosh, I'm not getting all of the vitamins, minerals, macronutrients that I need from what I'm taking through food, you're going to want to look at doing some sort of a supplement. You guys know, if you follow me, I'm a big advocate for Wilderness Athlete. I'm actually currently drinking one of the meal replacement shakes right now. My day's busy and I need some calories, so that's what I'm doing. You can look at what works best for you. This is great because it has a balance of all the right macronutrients as well as some of those micronutrients, vitamins, and healthy fats. So for me, this works great. So do you need to eat breakfast every day? I don't know. You need to be very diligent about assessing if that's going to be right for you or not. There is no right or wrong answer here, but bottom line is that long-term neglect of having something to eat in the morning, it's not necessarily going to screw you up metabolically or slow down your metabolism if you don't. But you do want to be very specific in finding out if you're getting enough calories throughout the day in general. So you can do this by just using Carb Manager, which I recommend, or MyFitnessPal, and doing like a 7 to 10 day food log to see what your calories look like. If you find that you're in a big deficit and you're not getting enough calories, but even sometimes you're not hungry, we adjust to what we've been giving our bodies. So you may find that you need to increase your calories in order to feel satisfied and to have the mental and physical energy. I'm going to be back here next week talking more about nutrition, but I hope this helps you debunk whether you need to eat breakfast or not.